Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to this tutorial. And now let's do one thing. Let's start creating the functions for authorization purpose. So first of all, I will say import express from express over here, and I will create route constant. Okay, so constant router is equal to express dot. Let me just check whether my mic is on or not. Okay, express dot. Express.router. Okay, so I've created this router instance. Then I will say router dot post, and now I will create the route for registration purpose. Register, and then I will define the some function over here. Uh, I will say register. I will basically import this, and I will do the same thing for login. /login/register, and then I have to export this, export default router. Okay, so when it comes to this register or the login function, I have to create this register or the login. So I'll go to the auth controller over here, and let me just create this register and the login. So first of all, I'll import user. I'll import the user from the user.js. Then I will import vcrypt. I will import vcrypt from the vcrypt over here. Then I will import jwt. So I'm importing all this because these packages will be needed. I don't want it to throw error afterwards. So let's do one thing. I will say constant register, and this is basically the async function, and it will have the request and the response. Okay, so it takes these two parameters. So when it comes to the register, I will be sending the two parameters in the request body, username and password. So I will destructure it. Okay, so I will say username, and password, and I will take this from the request body. Okay, and then I will have the try and catch block. So if there is any error, I will throw the error. So, or I can just say response dot status 500 dot JSON, and I will send a message over here, and whatever is the error message, I'll just directly send an error message. And when it comes to the registration, I will check whether the user already exists. So existing, so I will check for the existing the user dot find one with this particular username, and if the user is already there, then I will return from here only. I will say return response dot status 400. Okay, so it's a client side error, and I have to send a JSON. I will user existing. I will give this message. This is fine. Sometimes this autocomplete really helps a lot. And now when it comes to the registration, so what I will do, I will create a constant new user. I will say await, not await, sorry. I will directly say new user, and over here I will pass the parameters of the new user, like the username as username and the password as a password. So let me just do one thing. Let me just tell you what is going on over here. All the tabs are open. Let me just close all the tabs. Okay, so let me just take the user model over here. And when I'm creating the new user, user will be registering. Here, this is basically the name of the model which I've imported. Okay, so new user, and this username, the first parameter over here is basically this parameter username, and I'm assigning this particular user from the request body over here to this username. Okay, so if suppose this is the user one, then this parameter should come like the user one, like this. Okay, so for your understanding purpose, I'm doing that. And this password, I'm just assigning to this password, which is basically the parameter inside of the user schema. But as of now, we just can't directly send a password what we are getting from the front end side the way it is. Okay, so we have to hash that password. So I will say constant salt is equal to, I'll make use of the await, and I'm making it the bcrypt. Okay, so I will say bcrypt gen salt, and I'll give the parameter as a 10 over here. So this will basically create a hash, and I will say constant hash password. I will say constant hash password is equal to await bcrypt dot hash, and first it will take the password. So whatever password you are sending from the front end side, that will go over here. And second parameter will be the salt which you have created, and this hash password we will store in the backend. Okay, so here to this particular password we will assign this hash password. And now we have created this new user, so I will say await new user dot save, and this is how we will save this new user. And the front end side we have to send some message, so response dot status 200, or you can say 201, 200 for the success and 201 for the created. So dot json, and then over here I will pass on the message user user created successfully, and user created successfully message over here. So this is our register controller. Then we will create the controller for the login. So I will say constant login over here is equal to async request response. And again I'll do one thing. I will get the same parameters. Basically, we are making the same parameters. I will copy the same thing over here, and then I'm having the try and catch block. So I will say try and catch. I will copy this, paste this over here, and again I will check for the existing user. So this code will be same. So if existing user, I'll do this. I'll say constant is match. So basically, I will now I'll check whether this password is matching or not. Okay, so bcrypt bcrypt.compare, I'll make use of, and I'll try to compare the both the passwords. Okay, so the password which is sent by the user over here, then I'll try to check the password with the user dot password. Okay, so user dot existing user dot password. Okay. So I will try to get the user from the database whose username matches with this particular user, which we will be sending from the request body. And if the existing user is there, then we will get the password of that existing user and we will compare whether both the passwords are matching. If both the passwords are not matching, means user is not authenticated. Okay, so I will do one thing. If not is match, then the user is not matching, then I will say invalid credentials. Okay, so we will try to match the credentials and we will see. So once the user user is found, and if the password is matching, then we'll try to create a token for the user. Okay, so I will say constant user is equal to jwt dot sign, and inside of this jwt sign, we will pass the payload, and payload over here is user ID. So user ID is basically the this existing user. So existing user dot underscore ID. This is the format in which we save the data, and username will be basically existing user dot username. So this username, and what else we have to send? I think this much is fine. And the second parameter to this is process.env dot jwt secret. Okay, so let me just .jwt secret, and after that we have to specify. Okay, so after how many hours you want this what is going on expiring in parameter. So in expiring in parameter, you have to give the time after which you want to make this token expire. So I will give the 1 hour. Okay, so I want my token to expire after 1 hour. So this is how it will look after formatting. Okay, so our token is ready now, and I will do one thing. I will just go to the previous code. I will mostly try to copy paste the code over here. I will say response.status 200.json, and first I'll pass on the token, and I'll pass on this particular token over here, and after that I will give the user ID over here. I'll give the user ID. Where is the user? Existing user. Existing user dot ID, and yeah, I think this many parameters. If we are sending at the front end side, is fine, and we have to export them. Okay, so I'll say export and export. I'm exporting both these parameters, and then I will do one thing. I'll come to the routes and I will import them. So I will come over here and I will say import register from auth controller.js, and I will be also importing the login over here. And now our routing process is ready. The video is almost 15 minutes now. So now I'll do one thing. I'll go to my index.js, and over here we have to integrate the changes. So I'll import my routes over here. So I'll say import auth routes, and I'll import the auth routes from routes and auth.js. So this is my auth route. I'll come over here and I'll say add dot use, and I'll try to integrate over here like forward slash API forward slash auth, and I'll give this I will give this parameter over here. Okay, auth routes. So this is how we integrate. Let me just see. Okay, so it is navigating properly. Okay. So our routes for authentication is ready now. So you can just check it out with the help of the Postman. And in the next tutorial, I will create the routes for the conversation, messages, and other things. So see you all guys in the next tutorial. Until go and check out the next part of this. Thanks just for watching.